I have got a really big treat for you today. Today, I have asked my friend Amy Peirson to come and sit with me at my table. I have my tea, she has hers, and we are going to have a conversation about your relationship with your kids. Now, a lot of people know that when they're first born, you don't have much of a relationship. It's just kind of all one-sided on your side. And theirs is very, very needy. But as they start to grow older, your relationship has different phases, just like different little, three different little, not segments, but phases, facets, three different facets that you have with your kids. We all know that when we have little kids and they're first born, that there is not a whole lot of interaction going on. But as kids get older, we start having more of a building of a relationship. And our relationships with our kids grow as the child grows and as we grow as parents. There are different facets to it. And as they grow, some parents can get stuck in one facet. Now, I'm going to have my friend Amy, she's going to be here in just a second. I'm going to have her and I are going to discuss with you the three different facets or phases of your relationship with your kids. And I think you're really going to like it. We're going to do this segment. It's called Table Talk with Mona and Amy, and we are here to have a conversation. Now, you need to know there are no notes here, none. This just came out of a conversation that Amy and I had when we were on the phone the other day. And you know how that is. You're talking to your friends on the phone and you're like, oh my gosh, we need to tell somebody. Anyways, so here's Amy and I'm going to invite her up in just a minute as soon as we do this little, we got to play our song, right? We got to play our song. Welcome to the Moms Like Us podcast, where moms just like you learn strategies, systems, and skills through expert interviews and real-life insight designed to take your marriage, mothering, and home to the expert level. Hi, I'm Mona Corwin, your mom mentor and host, author, international speaker, and the founder of the Moms Like Us Academy. I've been coaching moms for over 25 years, and I have some really good news for you. Motherhood isn't a natural talent. It's a skill, and you can learn it. You can crush it at motherhood instead of motherhood crushing you. So let's get to today's show. Here we are. Woo-hoo! Mona and Amy are here to talk to you, and we have got some thoughts that we just want to share with you. This is kind of what Amy and I do when we are together anyways, and so...
But now the cameras are rolling. We're excited.
The cameras are rolling. So y'all, I don't even know what's going to happen. Well, the first thing that happened is we're not straight on the camera. Okay, so...
Hi.
You may not know this, but Amy and I wrote a book together. We did. Way back when. Remember that time we wrote a book together?
We wrote a book.
So we're used to having conversations and figuring things out. And we both love ideas. Amy is an amazing girl. She has 3 kids and a wonderful husband named Kyle. She's also has a seminary degree, which is really good when I don't know Latin. And she also was a...
You are so funny.
I know, it's true though. But she also was a girls minister at Prestonwood Christian Academy in Plano. And I can't say I'm welcome to my home because
I have a key. Because I have a key.
She has a key. In these times of so much social media and stuff, Amy and I have been really burdened by the fact that real relationships where you're like touching people, it's kind of gone by the wayside. And, we substitute FaceTime and Zoom and Instagram and all of that to keep up with one another. I have someone that I know that I haven't heard their voice in about 6 months, but I know everything that they've been doing. Now, sometimes you don't have a choice because they're far away, but I just want to, and Amy will echo this in just a sec, we want you to move forward with your friendships with other women, because when other women come together, we really do sharpen each other. And because we're going to learn how to do that, we're also going to learn how to be friends with our kids, like in the good way.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds great.
You got something to say?
Usually. So, yeah, what we were talking about the other day, it seems like with your kids, but then also with other women, with people that you lead, it seems like there are 3 different kinds of relationships that you have. And the first one is friends, like your kid's friend. Because we're going to talk about you with your kids today.
But it really works.
But it can go, as you're listening to it, it could really go to all your relationships. But
not your man. Well, maybe.
I don't know. What if
we'll
see.
We
might get there. I know. I'm like, I really thought about that. We'll get there at the end. So with your kids, friends. And I know that we hear all the time, like, you can't be your kid's friend because then you're like the mom on Mean Girls, right? Where you're like, I'm not a normal mom. I'm the cool mom, right?
Please, don't you want to just slap those people?
But you are, on some level, friends with your kids, right? And like my daughter and I was joking with her because she's had to buy her first bra. She was horrified, but that's a funny friend, or like I'll ask my kids, how was your day today? Who did you sit by at lunch, right? Like, you did a really good job, in your baseball game. What's your favorite part about it? So there are some relational things that we do with our kids. This morning I was playing dress up with my 3-year-old, right? So there's some things that you do with your kids and some questions that you ask and the way you relate with them where it's more friendship. But what we were saying is this is casual. This is a very casual relationship, which is fine, right? Which is fine, but I think some people stay there, is what we were saying. Some people stay at the shallows, some people call it, or at the surface of just being their kid's friend. But go ahead.
We were talking about the reason for that. I think this is a good place to interject this. Okay. It's weird to try to like go from friend to another aspect of your parenting, and a lot of parents struggle with relationships with one or all of their children. And so it's just everything is hurried, everything's out the door. And when we discuss these other 3, we allow the other 2 aspects, then we kind of assign that to other people, and we're missing out. Mm-hmm. So what's number 2?
Well, you want to be friends with your kids. You want it to be fun. I think everything is so serious all the time. Have some lighthearted moments with your kids.
Like food fights?
One of my favorite things to do with my kids is, I don't do it often. I do it sporadically enough where they don't see it coming, but I'll be like, here, try a bite of this. Mommy made something sweet. You got to close your eyes and guess what it is. And then I'll put like the whipped cream on their nose. It kills every time. I have younger kids. Love it. But so casual friendship, that's casual. But then you want to move from casual to meaningful, right? Because it may be that all of their friends at school, all their relationships are casual. Well, who's getting to their heart? It's our job and it's our privilege and it's our joy to help them feel known. So you want to move from casual friends to meaningful, to mentoring. So then the question goes from just, who'd you sit by at lunch to, hey, what'd you talk about at lunch? Was anyone kind to you at recess? Who were you a friend to today? So you're kind of those more meaningful kind of questions and conversations, or even activities or interactions. So you go from casually watching a TV show together that you're laughing at to more meaningful. You're reading a book out loud while they're painting, or you're, doing something that's a little more intentional while you're kind of drawing them out.
I think those kind of conversations, if I had to kind of know when I was in one, it would be I would feel a little more uncomfortable. Because you would be going from, not that I ever am uncomfortable in conversations, but when you start to go a little deeper where you feel like, oh, maybe they don't want to talk about this, you're on the right path because you're trying to go deeper inside of them. Like, for instance, who did you talk to at lunch today? I wouldn't ask Amy, who did you talk to at the grocery store today? But when you ask that, you're planning on going deeper by saying, oh, did she say that? How did you feel? And then you're getting into the heart. Just think of peeling back that little heart. And it's not that they have a hard heart. You just want to get to the real soft place. and going from friendship, friendly, casual conversation to a little more intimate. Maybe someone else wouldn't ask you this question, but I
I'm your
want to.
mom.
I'm
I
your
want
mom.
to
I
know.
want to know.
Yeah.
And then, of course, don't ask yes or no questions is a good one. We're going to have a list of some really great.
Made them yesterday. We're ready.
We're so ready, and we're sending them off to the team, and the team is going to make it all pretty for you to download. So you can check the link above. And by the way, if you haven't subscribed to the show, please do that. And at the end, you're going to want to share this with a friend, so don't forget. So going in and going a little deeper just to find that little soft nugget. And another way that we can do that, not by having questions is really good, but by lowering our voice and speaking a little softer and a little slower, just like that. When people talk a little softer and a little slower, children will look up and listen, which is one of the things that I teach in the Finally Stop Yelling course, because that's one of the things we're yelling all the time, and that's what they're used to hearing.
You know, I didn't think about that, but as you're saying that, I'm thinking my body language with my kids. You know, if I'm like chopping the onion for dinner, I'm like, "How was your day? Like, who did you play with at recess?" And they're like, "Oh, I played with so and so," but after a few minutes, they didn't want to play with me anymore. Like, I stop what I'm doing, I go a little closer, I might put my hand on their shoulder, or I might lower my voice and say, "Oh, Baba, why'd they quit playing with you? Did you find someone else to play with?" Like, even with my body language and my tone, I'm communicating like, this is getting a little more meaningful. Let's talk about it. I'm listening. Yeah, so you want to move from casual to meaningful to spiritual, right? Because you don't want to just be friends with your kids. You don't want to just mentor your kids. While mentoring's good,
Always.
It's like a trusted guide. That's the definition
Coach.
of it. It's a coach.
A helper,
a teacher, but we don't want to just make students. We want to make disciples. And so you're moving from casual to meaningful to spiritual. And so the conversation might look like this, right? You're a toddler. Who'd you share? Who shared their toys with you today at church? Nobody. Nobody? Really? The whole morning? How'd that make you feel, buddy? Did you feel kind of sad, or did you just find something else to play? I just found something else to play, and then I shared my toys with Alex. Oh my goodness, buddy. Jesus tells us that he is a friend that sticks closer than even a brother. When you shared your toys, you were being kind like Jesus, right? Mm-hmm. And so see how even, it's not like you're friends with your kids 0 to 5, then it's meaningful from 6 to 11, and then it's spiritual 12 to 18. It's like my kid is 3, and I went through all 3 of them in a 1-minute conversation. So it's not like we want to keep it casual and then you graduate up as they get older. Practice this now with your 1 and 2-year-old. And you're going to go, my 1-year-old won't remember it. Okay, but you're practicing getting your wording down and what you feel comfortable, what your parenting style is, how you move in and out of these facets.
Yeah. And, you know, I hear moms a lot saying about their teenage daughters, or even when their sons, when they get to be about 14, they just don't want to talk to me, or I can't have a meaningful conversation. Now, just so you know, that is going to happen. Almost everybody that I talk to that has a 12-year-old daughter kind of goes through that. There comes a time where they kind of go inside a little bit, but that doesn't mean you don't keep trying.
Right.
That doesn't mean that you think, oh, they don't like me. Literally, it means that they're going inside themselves and they're checking things out. That's when you need to be watching a lot, so that when you do your casual and you do your mentoring and you want to go into the spiritual, that you can do those when it's really, really important, or when it's where you know it's going to make an impact. You know, in the Bible, it tells us to train our children when they get up, when they're down, when they go to bed, when they're on the road. And I think that family devotionals are really important. I love family meetings. We have in the Moms Like Us Academy, we have a template for that. Not a template, it's like a whole little course on the Moms Like Us Academy that teaches that. And I think these are really, really important. Those are not the times for this kind of personal one-on-one. It's when we're doing it as a family, that's great. We should be doing it. But it shouldn't just be, you know, all the kids, or you need to teach them specifically, individually, alone. Because there'll be times that they don't want to share something in front of their sister. They may not want their little brother to know that somebody was mean to them or that something else happened. So know that it needs to be, there will be times when they don't want to do it as much, but don't stop trying.
I was just thinking about when Isaac was like 6, he plays baseball, and the coach on another team that we played one Saturday was the worst. I don't know. Can we say that on camera? Yeah. The way he was yelling at the kids, the way he was treating the other kid. Another mom and I were like, our kid would never be on a team like that. I can't believe these other parents are fine with that. You know, it seemed like they were fine with it. And you know your kids. Isaac's super intuitive, always has been, like an old soul, plays chess, like he's funny. So on the way home, I just said, hey, like casual, we're driving home. Hey, buddy, tell me about your baseball game today. Oh, yeah, can you believe I hit this, and this? Yeah, I know. Oh, and coach, like, brought us all Gatorades. I know, that was so awesome. What'd you think about the other coach? I could not believe the way he was yelling at everybody. He was kind of mean.
Yeah.
I was like, how'd that make your heart feel, seeing how he was yelling at those other kids? He was like, ugh, I did not like that. I was like, yeah, you know, we know the Bible says in Galatians, the fruit of the Spirit is what? Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and what? His self-control. I was like, right. I said, do you see when a man doesn't have self-control, it not only hurt the boys that he was coaching, probably hurt their hearts, it even hurt your heart, and you don't even know him. So you want to grow up to be a man that has self-control, Isaac, because that honors God and it respects other people. I'm telling you, start to finish, 30 seconds, and then he was like, huh. And then I'm sure like Eva started talking about something, and that was kind of it. But Mona's right. When you're along the road, you may not have a 15-minute lecture, but they're little. They're not, right? But hopefully somewhere in there, you're planting the seeds of this is what a man looks like. A man doesn't look loud and win the game. A man looks like this. So
that's really
casual, meaningful, spiritual, and you always want to get to the spiritual.
It's friend, mentor, and disciple maker.
Mm-hmm.
So we're kind of developing this, but it'll all be in the PDF that we're going to give you. And most kids are really going to open up to a mom that is looking at them, that's listening to them. You know, after having 5 kids and girls yelling, you know, I just talked about that. I was super good at it. And we all do it, and we all hate it. But we do it because it works. It works. But when we can learn some other methods like this one here, then we're going to feel a little more equipped. Most of the time when I yelled, I don't know how you feel, but I yelled because I felt like there was nothing else I could do. And I even said it. You guys don't do anything until I yell. It was like my last ditch effort. But you don't have to feel that way. We're going to equip you in the Moms Like Us Academy and to know how to do this. So you can have systems and skills and strategies. So you don't crush your little kid's heart and you don't get crushed in the process. So table talk is one of those things that we're going to offer. You got something else?
I got one more thing.
Yeah, I know you do. I could tell in your eyes.
And you don't have to go casual, meaningful, spiritual all in 30 seconds.
Oh, yeah. You
could go casual, right? That morning when you're eating breakfast and you're getting out the door for whatever, you know, who can you be a good friend to today? Who can you be a good friend to today? And then the meaningful, you get in the car and you're like, all right, who are you a good friend to today? Who was it?
Follow
and then the spiritual is that night at dinner. At dinner, you're like, hey, all right, the goal was to be a good friend. And you told me who you were a good friend to. Now, we're going to look at these 2 verses about 2 friends in the Bible. And this is what we're going for, guys. We want to look like Jesus. This is it. We're lights in the world. So it doesn't have to be, because I'm thinking of myself that I would be like, oh, I went casual, meaningful, and then shoot, I didn't even have a spiritual. You know, Build on it.
Darn.
They live with you. They're going to be there the next day. There's so many times with Eva, I've gone, remember that thing we were talking about 2 or 3 days ago? She's like, maybe, remind me. I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? I'm like, well, I wanted to add something to that. So it's just a big conversation.
And then when they get older, it's funny because my kids are all older now, that they'll tell you things that they remember that you said all the time. And I'm always surprised at what they are. Like they said the other day, somebody said, you just probably need some water. And they're like, yeah, that's mom's answer for everything, water. I'm like, what? Yeah, it didn't matter what we had. Didn't matter what was going on. Water was the answer. I still believe that. I believe water is the answer. You put it on it. You put them in it. You take them out into it.
Oh my gosh.
You put them in, water.
And Jesus says the water. See how quickly we moved through that?
And Jesus is the water.
We did it.
The water of the word. It just satisfies.
All right. How you want to land this plane?
We're going to land this plane by saying, moms like us do things like this. And we have table talk and we talk things through with our friends. And I hope you've enjoyed this episode with Amy and I. And we will be doing some more when we have another revelation when we're chatting.
It'll be tomorrow.
It'll be tomorrow. All right, that's it. Remember, moms like us do things like this. Now go out and make it a great day.
My arms are blocked.
Hi, I hope you liked this episode of the Moms Like Us show. And if you did, I hope that you'll share it. You'll share it with another mom friend because, moms like us do things like this. I also hope that you will check out the Moms Like Us Academy, where we take ideas like we've been talking about on the show, but we go deeper. We just don't get inspired and think, ooh, that's a really good idea. I think I want to try that. We actually learn how to do these things and why we need to. And then you know what? You have Mona, the mom mentor, and other master moms that teach the master classes in there. They come alongside and we help you implement and really, truly change your mom life into the mom life you've always wanted to have, because motherhood isn't a natural talent. It's a skill, sweetie, and you can learn it. So go and check out the Moms Like Us Academy today and find me when you get there and say hi.